Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're jumping into Warren Buffett's perspective on world trade.
Right, specifically around the time of President Trump's tariff policies.
Exactly. And our source material here is, well, it's pretty direct, the Berkshire Hathaway annual shareholder meeting.
Yeah, and what's really telling, I think, is that this wasn't just some random question deep into the session.
Yeah.
No, it was literally the first question asked.
Wow. Okay. So clearly top of mind for shareholders then.
Definitely shows how much concern or interest there was about the disruption to, established trade practices.
Right. So you've got this legendary investor Buffett weighing in on these major shifts in global commerce. Okay. So what's his actual core philosophy on trade? What did he say?
Well, his fundamental view, he put it pretty simply, actually. He said, we should be looking to trade with the rest of the world, and we should do what we do best, and they should do what they do best.
Do what we do best. Sounds simple enough, almost common sense, but what's the economic thinking behind that?
Well, it ties directly into a really core economic idea, comparative advantage.
Comparative advantage, right?
Yeah, it's basically saying, look, countries should focus their energy on producing the things they're most efficient at making compared to other countries, and then just trade for the rest.
So like if one country is great at making phones and another's great at growing coffee.
Exactly. It's generally better for both to specialize and trade rather than, each trying to do both things less effectively. You get more overall.
Okay, so it's about global specialization, not every country for itself trying to make everything.
Precisely. And building on that idea of sort of mutual benefit, Buffett also voiced a pretty strong caution against this winner-takes-all mentality in trade.
Yeah, I remember that quote. He said something like, I do not think it's a great idea to try and design a world where a few countries say, ha ha ha, we've won, and other countries are envious. That part really jumped out.
It really does. And what's interesting there, I think, is the implication about sustainability. He seems to be suggesting that trade relationships work better, last longer, when all sides feel like they're getting a reasonably fair deal.
So if some countries feel like they're constantly losing out,
Then you get resentment. Right. And that can lead to pushback, maybe more tariffs, import quotas, that sort of thing, protectionism. And that ultimately erodes the very benefits trade offers in the first place.
so it's not just about the immediate economics, the dollars and cents, but also about keeping international relationships stable?
Exactly. You have to remember, Buffett's famous for his long-term view, right?
Yeah.
Value investing over decades. So for him, a stable, cooperative global environment is probably seen as, well, essential for sustained economic prosperity.
Makes sense. A world where countries feel exploited or left behind? That doesn't sound like a recipe for long-term growth for anyone, really.
Not likely, no.
So for you listening and wanting to get a quick handle on this, Buffett's offering a really insightful angle here. He's seeing trade not just as transactions, but as part of this bigger picture of global economic health
Mm.
and stability.
Yeah, the key takeaway for me is that he doesn't seem to view trade as a zero-sum game, where one side winning means the other has to lose. He's looking for that system where, ideally, everyone benefits, mutual gain.
Okay, so summing it up, Buffett's core message seems to be championing trade based on specialization, comparative advantage, leading to mutual benefits. And he's quite wary of policies like maybe aggressive tariffs that seem aimed at just grabbing a bigger slice of the pie for one side.
Right, the protectionist moves that risk, creating that envy and instability he mentioned.
It definitely puts a different frame on it.
And maybe that leads to a final thought for you to chew on. What are the longer-term effects of these different philosophies? Protectionism versus mutually beneficial trade. How does that play out for global cooperation, for stability? And how could this kind of long-term investor's view maybe help us understand the trade debates happening even now?
Yeah, some really important questions to consider there. Great stuff. Thanks for taking this deep dive with us today.